suffering with food insecurity during this COVID-19 period. And on the other hand, you can see how Swamiji not only working towards eliminating hunger, but rather building this consciousness of people by solving these hunger issues by doing the Anadan. So now let us see the proof of necessity for Anadan, just a comparative analysis of the situation that happened in Bengal famine of 1943.
Said greatly aggravated.
Churchill is a hero and one of the greatest Britons of all time. But in a colony he once presided over, many point to a dark legacy.
He might be an icon in Britain, but in India, he is seen actually as the precipitator of mass killing because of the policies that he advocated and the policies that he followed in Bengal in 1943.
At the heart of the anger against him, a famine in Bengal. It was triggered by a cyclone and flooding. But many blame Winston Churchill and his government for making the situation worse. It's a painful chapter in India's colonial history. Only a few surviving images show the horror of hunger. Those who didn't die in villages went to cities in search of food. Every day, bodies had to be removed from Kolkata's streets. At least 3 million died, more than 6 times the British Empire's casualties in World War II, raging at the same time. Chittakumar Shamonto has lived through it.
আমাকেও অনাহারে আমার ফ্যামিলিকে কাটাতে হয়েছে এবং কঙ্কাল সার দেহ মানুষের সেই অবস্থা দেখলে ভয় লাগে। একটা মানুষকে দেখলে যে মানুষ না, এটা প্রেতাত্মা। খাল পাড় দিয়ে রাস্তায় অনেক ডেড বডি, মানে মরা দেহ পড়ে থাকতো, কুকুরে টেনে ছিঁড়ে খাচ্ছে, শুকুনে ছিঁড়ে খাচ্ছে, এরকম আমাদেরকে ব্রিটিশ সরকার না খেয়ে না খাইয়ে মারার চেষ্টা করেছে।
British troops had been forced to retreat from Burma by the Japanese, and fearing they could also invade Bengal, anything that could aid the enemies, like food stocks and boats, were seized or destroyed. Actor Soumitra Chatterjee was 8 when the famine struck.
Well, I do
Let you all open all your 3 eyes.
We get you health. We get you ability to build beautiful relationships in your life. We get you direct spiritual support, and we make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. whole world should become Kailasians.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that.
Kailasa is proper customized spiritual service helping you to identify your root patterns of suffering. We have perfected the science of helping every individual from every cultural, religious, nationality background. You will have lowest reactionary assumptions, highest awakened response, alive response for life continuously. Kailasa is enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. Proper customized spiritual service helping you to complete with your life negativity, withdrawal from life, self-hatred, self-denial, self-doubt, so much of tiredness, laziness. We can support you aligning your diet, your attitude, your aptitude, your understanding about life. We can help you with everything. If you are interested in enlightenment, we will immediately bring this to you. If you are not interested, we will explain the whole science, inspire you and make you interested in enlightenment time. We need to cater this enlightenment science to the whole world wherever they are, because enlightenment is the birthright of all human beings. Kailasa is responsible to provide that to all human beings. Kailasa is the total.
And welcome back. We were just seeing various aspects, facets of Annadan, the great humanitarian service and spiritual service, which is offered by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and Kailasa. Let us now see some of the revelations to the world by Devi Parashakti. 12th May of this year, Devi revealed, I came as Nijavatara. I am blessing you. Listen. People, listen. To do good to all of you. I have taken the form of Nithyananda and come down as Nijavatara. People of India, listen. Carefully listen. Time after time, Bharatam is Jnana Bhumi, where enlightened beings come. We cannot make Jnana Bhumi as infertile. Enlightenment beings have to come. They have to live. It has to flower. Few hypocrites, because they are stuck in delusion. We cannot sacrifice the world. cosmos cannot be destroyed. The ship I did to save cosmos from being destroyed, that is called Adi Kailasa. The ship I did to protect beings from Pralaya is Adi Kailasa. Because of conspiracy of Drohis and enemies' rule, the captain has to leave the ship. Before 12 years, knowing the great deluge that is going to happen, all Aushadhas, by this Guru Purnima, that Jnana Rasavadam, Navapashana, is going to flower. Allow people to come and take dip in Navapashana flower. People, whoever comes and dip in Vaidyasarovar, they will not have deaths. They will not have corona. Crores and crores of people will come in line. Every day they will come and dip in Ananda Lingam. Listen well to my words. For India, I made ship as protection. The Nithyananda Navapashana Lingam in Vaidyasarovar. Go to Adi Kailasa. O Indians, listen. All those regretting losing Nithyananda Nijavatara without confusion and without talking just as lip service, go to Adi Kailasa. Crores of people will come there looking for health, Navapashana, water feast, and medicine to get health and protection and enlightenment. To protect India from the great destruction, I, Parashakti, made this huge ship. Even if captain is not there, ship is there. That was just a glimpse into some of the revelations of Devi Parashakti in the Akashic readings about the corona pandemic and how India is going to face the same. With the onset of the third wave of the COVID-19, when first world countries are closing their borders during this massive global emergency, Kailasa is the only nation that has opened its doors to all without exception. The free COVID care centers have been opened across India, various Kailasas across India, which are providing this facility to one and all, include Adi Kailash in Biddi, Bangalore, Salem Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Tiruvannamalai Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Rajapalayam Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Puduvai Adinam in Pondicherry, Pattanam Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Siragapadi Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Sripuram Adinam in Hyderabad, Madurai Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Avattipalayam Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Hosur Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Baroda Adinam in Gujarat. So one can see here almost a dozen free COVID care centers being opened in all the Kailasas across India, the de facto spiritual embassies of Kailasa in India. One can see Kailasa, how it is rushing to aid as India finds itself on the verge of the COVID-19 third wave. Multiple free COVID care centers being opened across India, various humanitarian services being offered during this pandemic in Kailasa's de facto spiritual embassies across India, spiritual services offered during pandemic in Kailasa's de facto spiritual embassies across India, and very at the core of this whole services, the great spiritual support of the cosmic revelations on the global pandemic. The free humanitarian services offered during the pandemic in de facto spiritual embassies across India include medical care in the form of allopathy, Siddha, Ayurvedic, naturopathy medicines, the infrastructure to accommodate thousands of people who are coming to avail themselves of the COVID care protection facilities, accommodation in the form of multi-layered quarantine facility, as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been reminding us time and again, including as recent as the last few hours, when he kept exhorting people to protect themselves in the multi-layer quarantine facility, because that is the only way in which one can save one's life, which is extremely critical. As Bhagavan explained, the life, the consciousness in every being is completely priceless. It is incomparably priceless with relation to anything which is not real, like even the money system or the economy. To save one's life till the end of this year is the only important thing, only priority, as Devi Parashakti also revealed. So, for anyone who wants to avail of this COVID care protection facility because of the multi-layer quarantine facility provided, the Kailasas across India are preparing accommodation for the thousands of people who would be pouring in to the various de facto spiritual embassies of Kailasa across India. Also being enabled and ready for medical emergencies by having ICU on wheels, having emergency ambulances ready, personal protective medical equipment being provided to all who come to Kailasa's COVID care protection centers, food security management through food banks being done to address the one of the very significant problems in this pandemic, which is food insecurity, and organic farming so as to enable annadan of organic, sattvic, nutritious food to one and all. So these are some of the humanitarian services being offered in this pandemic by Kailasa in all its de facto spiritual embassies across India, which have opened their doors in the form of COVID care protection centers. So let's register ourselves at kailasa.org/kailasa kailasa.org/Kailasa care.
I welcome you all with my love and respect. Let you all open all your three eyes.
Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Nithyanandam. And how now we can see a glimpse of the preparation at the various de facto spiritual embassies of Kailasa across India, specifically at Adi Kailasa now. The groceries collected for the Annadana, as one can see, a number of bags of rice, grains, groceries collected and kept ready to be able to serve the people, the Annadan. And here one can see Ayurvedic, Sattvic, vegetarian food being given to the residents and the people who have come to avail of the COVID Care Protection Center at Adi Kailasa. One can see here Kailasa's Department of Housing. The citizens, the Adinivasis of Adi Kailasa, continued working around the clock in organizing the storage of the groceries, as one can see here, blissful, happy faces of the monks of the Sovereign Order of Kailasa at Adi Kailasa, organizing the groceries, cleaning the jaggery, carrying the groceries, and doing the arrangements to have a large-scale storage facility for the food so that it can be kept safely and it is available over the months to come to serve humanity. One can see here the banana plantation in Adi Kailasa Sarvanya Peetham. Here, these banana plants are grown, and in the effort to make the Adi Kailasa and similarly other Kailasas across India having similar such organic farming and plantations in an effort to drive self-sustainability and having the lifestyle of produce a lot and grow a lot and share with all as per Annam Bahupurvita, the spiritual injunction of the Veda Agamas, all these being cultivated in the multi-layered quarantine facility. And here one can see a number of glimpses of the Kailasa's Department of Agriculture, where one can witness vertical gardening and de-weeding through natural means and nourishing the soil, cleaning up, generating natural compost, and doing all the necessary agricultural procedures, requirements through the principles, along keeping in mind the principles and implementing the fundamental principles of non-violence, ahimsa, so that even the agriculture is done in what Bhagavan says with an attitude of pro-life. So one can see here only natural fertilizers and nourishment agents being used for the organic farming at Adi Kailasa, and every inch of the space being utilized organic for the vertical, in the form of vertical gardening. And here one can see the Adinavasis, the citizens, the residents of Adi Kailasa working in full swing to help facilitate the requirements related to the accommodation facility, the housing facility for the hundreds and hundreds of people who are already coming and pouring in for protection from the COVID-19 pandemic. And so various spaces across the Adinam being cleared up so that every inch can be used to provide accommodation facility for the people. And we also have, very importantly, the Kailasa's Department of Health supporting this whole initiative, because with the third wave of COVID as it's hitting the world, the medical and the emergency response team have already upped their actions and their plans. Each individual who is coming into the COVID Care Protection Center being guided through various natural protection mechanisms to boost the immunity of oneself in the form of various techniques, including providing herbal kashayams, doing this steam inhalation before meal, and receiving their dietary supplements so that the vitamins and the minerals in the body are ensured, and thereby the immunity of the body is improved so as to protect oneself from any possibility of infections and from the corona pandemic. The organic sattvic meals also include a very balanced mix of components so that the health of each and every one is taken care of. And this was just one glimpse into one of the various dimensions of services being provided by Kailasa. If you would like to register yourself for this COVID Care Protection Center in India, we can register now through the link https://kailasa.org/Kailasa Care. So with this, we'll move on to the next segment of the program. Thank you, Nithyanandan.
I welcome you all with my love and respect. Let you all open all your three eyes.
Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Paramashivoham.
Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. Let's start with the Sadguru Vandanam. Nithyanandam Paramasukhanam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadusham Tattamasyadi Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Let's go through the disclaimers. Security measures. No photography, video, audio recording. Important cautions. Please be aware of the important cautions. What is power manifestation? Let's hear from Bhagavan himself explaining what is power manifestation.
All the 25 states of consciousness, when they happen in you, due to your chemicals and hormones ups and downs, it is powerlessness. When it happens in you, out of your free will and consciousness, it is powerfulness. That's all. When you fall into sleep, it is powerlessness. When you enter into sleep, it is powerfulness. When you fall into dream, it is powerlessness. When you decide to dream, it is powerfulness. So I have added the ultimate powerfulness, Turiyatita, in your whole being and doing. Manifest all the powers. Understand, power manifestation is nothing but cognitive shift. It is not work. It is cognitive shift. Understand? It is just cognitive shift. It's not work. Work is a 4-letter word. Power manifestation is cognitive shift. Playing life. Playing with being alive.
Directly, beautifully Bhagavan explained how the power manifestation is being alive and manifesting whatever you say as reality. The science of power manifestation, science, it is because it is repeatable and it is doable for each one of us. That is why it is science. Science of power manifestation is authentic, time-tested, scientific and foolproof. And the evidences here are listed. The Shastra Pramana, evidences from the scriptures, the eternal unchangeable truth revealed in the source scriptures, the Vedas and the Agamas. Apta Pramana, experience in the results of the Aptas, the Rishis, Munis, Ganas, Nainamas, Alvars, Siddhas, all of them are authority of Hinduism, manifesting all the powers of Paramashiva, which is authentic, time-tested and scientific. Atma Pramana, account of His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, this millennium's avatar's personal experience of each power manifestation, Bhagavan's very own Leelas. Bhagavan has beautifully manifested all the powers as per the Shastra Pramana. Shakshi Pramana, experience of millions of disciple, devotees, followers all around the world, manifesting all the powers of Paramashiva, initiated by Bhagavan himself into the science of power manifestation. Pratyaksha Pramana, the scientific study measuring the effect of being in the enlightened state. The thoughtless space, Bhagavan beautifully says, whoever comes to the Kailasa courtyard, I myself will manifest in each one of them all the abundance and all the auspicious, making them manifest all the powers of Paramashiva. Each one of us are blessed to experience this oneness space, the deep meditative space, and manifest as our reality as Paramashiva. And let's go to the Shastra Pramana. The Shastra Pramana are the eternal, unchangeable truth revealed in the source scriptures, the Vedas and the Agamas. This is the scriptural reference for the power of length dimension. This is from Shiva Sutra, Sutra 1.19. Shakti Sandhane Shariropatihi. Bhagavan Paramashiva says, by aiming and fixing the self on Shakti, uniting in oneness with the supreme power, the embodiment of that which is cognized and willed manifests at once the length, breadth, depth, time, and space. Bhagavan, how he has given, how you have a science lab or a math lab, you have the step-by-step process for getting the conclusion result. And same way, Bhagavan gives us a beautiful, all the powerful cognition for us to get a cognitive shift. How? When you go to a humor club, you laugh because something beyond the mind, the logic, somebody says a joke and you laugh at it. That is because something beyond the mind, logic that you experience. Same way, each of the power manifestation is beyond your mind because you're going to experience infinity. Infinity cannot be smaller than your mind. Then the mind is part of that infinity, not the infinity can be understood by the mind. Bhagavan beautifully says, by aiming and fixing the self on Shakti, Bhagavan today greatly gave the powerful cognition for us to experience the oneness. And he said so beautiful, whatever the Guru eats and the Uchishta that you can have, that is when you do the Naivedyam, the Prasada, and whatever the puja you do for Guru Paduka, and the water that you can receive as nectar itself, and how you experience the Guru's Mahavakya, the Ajapa Japa inside you, and the Guru form itself as you, continuously holding these four, the is much higher than the moksha itself, being in that eternal space of oneness, aiming and fixing the self on Shakti. That's what Bhagavan clearly gives us to understand what we need to do to experience consciousness. We are not the body, we are the body also. We are the mind also. But we are stuck with these two, not knowing how to get out of this and all the struggles that we are going through. And Bhagavan gives a very simple method. Just be in this presence of Guru's presence continuously, Paramashiva's presence, that you are Paramashiva, and continuously manifesting Paramashiva through every action that he is manifesting. Like you say, everything you do as Bhagavan's Arpanam, that you surrender to Bhagavan, that whatever is happening for each and everything, as per Agama, even if you drink water, a cup of water, you offer to Lord Shiva and then take it. All the great truth that when we start living continuously as Paramashiva, we will start merging into Paramashiva space and become in oneness. How the bee happens is the worm continuously feels the bee will come and eat it and keeps watching the bee continuously. It becomes the bee and it starts flying. The whole science is what you keep thinking, you become that. And when you keep thinking Paramashiva, you become Paramashiva. Constantly what you cherish your Guru, continuously holding Swamiji, continuously holding Bhagavan in your inner space. You manifest Bhagavan himself as your reality. That is the aiming and fixing the self on Shakti and uniting in oneness with the supreme power. Again and again, realizing you are Paramashiva, that is manifesting as your body, that is manifesting as the whatever is offered in front of you as prasada, for you to experience that oneness. Again and again, that which is cognized, like how you know already the colors, the shapes, the numbers, letters, whatever in the world, outer world. Same way, if you cognize this as your reality, then you hold the will persistent till it becomes real, that this is the only ultimate reality that I want to experience. That which is willed is not something you experience and then say this is correct. You first manifest it in your inner space that this is what is happening as a reality, and then you see in the outer world manifestation continuously happen. So that which is willed manifest at once you cognize and you're able to hold that cognition, simply it becomes at once as your reality. All the dimensions simply starts manifesting in your reality. Let's see the Apta Pramana. Apta Pramanas are the Rishis, Munis, Ganas, Nainamas, Alvars, Siddhas. All of them experience the great powers. Srinivasa Ramanuja, And one of the toughest thing is to believe that we can download even the math and solve math problems just by download. Here, Srinivasa Ramanuja was the first Indian mathematician who lived during the British rule in India. Though he had almost no formal training or in pure mathematics, he has made the substantial contribution to the mathematics world. Whether it is analytical, it's a functional, it is the problem solution or anything, completely he was a man of infinity. And the man who knew the infinity was the book name and the chapter 5, that the goddess of Namakkal. And he says very beautifully, an equation for me has no meaning. He has no idea what it is unless it is expressed thought of God, Devi. And she was the one who's revealed all the truth for him. And beautifully how he experienced all that just by oneness, whether it is Einstein, Newton, or all of them have just done all the discoveries, all the scientific breakthrough only by just download. There was no formula book that they can prescribe for the discoveries. None of them, all of them clearly said it's a download. And that is what makes you an extraordinary being, for you to experience the oneness. What you earn for deeply, the cosmos simply opens up the reality and just downloads in you. Bhagavan says the plants simply reveal itself to you. That's how the Siddhas understood the greater science. They did not have any formal education, or they did not have a scientific lab to learn all these things. That is a Western way of looking at it. Bhagavan beautifully says how the Balasans just download, and many times we have had the SAT exam, the CAT exam, the IIT JEE exam, all of them, they just were able to master by downloading. Even the simple pi, they did not know, some of them, because they were too young. But simply they were able to download and they solve the problems. The Mensa questions, they were not only able to answer the questions, they were able to write the questions also when we told the page number. So to the extent that we can see that simply downloading information is a possibility in all of us to experience the oneness with Paramashiva. How does it help me in experiencing oneness with Paramashiva and manifesting auspiciousness? Each of our block, the length dimension, is all the verbalization that we are caught up in. Once we clear that, simply our energy starts manifesting and the more and more clarity starts happening in us. Here Bhagavan beautifully explains the conscious space.
Can you also give me some signs to distinguish between reality and fantasy?
Nidhi, first thing you need to know, whatever you understand as reality, the dimensions like a size, shape, quality, your association of good and bad with it, all that, even one quality does not exist in objective reality. Please understand. If you think this is wall, this is not wall. Whatever you understand, why this wall, what this wall does, how it looks, what it is, who built, is it good for me, bad for me, all concepts you have about the wall is not there actually on the wall. So in a way I can say there is no such thing as objective reality and there is something called objective reality. There is no such thing as objective reality is also true. There is objective reality is also true. Understand? I tell you there is no such thing as objective reality because anything you see, you perceive, does not exist as you perceive. And I tell you there is objective reality. Well, you know, because you may be liberated from this wall, but the other person who is not liberated will continue to see this wall as objective reality. Because of that, I tell objective reality exists. But I tell you, for you, objective reality does not exist. So, the right truth, objective reality does not exist for you, but the objective reality exists for the objects you see in objective reality. But as the objective reality does not exist for you itself, how can the objects you see in the objective reality, subjective reality can be objective reality for you? the objective reality perceived by you itself is not reality, how can the objective reality perceived by the objects which you perceive in the objective reality can be objective reality for you? Listen to the statement again. As the objective reality.
Sorry, there was a technical glitch that I did not hear. I was saying how the body itself doesn't exist, how the body can see something that exists. The body can see only if the body exists. If the body itself doesn't exist, the way you perceive it, it's not there. When you dream, it's not that your mother is disappearing when you wake up. She's there in a different form, but in a dream, it was completely different. She might have been a very young girl or something completely different scene. But now you see her in completely different form. So what you saw in the dream is not the reality. When you wake up, you know it. Same way Bhagavan is saying, how you perceive your body itself is wrong, and how you're from that body, you're concluding that wall can be correct. The wall is the way you perceive is also from the body which is perceiving the wall. So we need to understand the greater truth, how we exist and who we are, how we can experience the higher reality. To understand that, we will understand how we can project the world as we want. Beautifully Bhagavan explains here.
Which you perceive itself is not an objective reality for you, then how can the objects you perceive in the objective reality can have the objective reality which you perceive as the objective reality, which is not the objective reality? So, what you know as reality is nothing but the perversion of your fantasy. What you know as fantasy is nothing but the perversion of your reality. When you go beyond what you know as reality and fantasy, you see yen reality, which is yen reality.
So beautiful. Bhagavan explained how we perceive ourselves, it is a fantasy, and how we perceive others from that fantasy as our reality is also completely all fantasies and a perversion of ourselves to believe this is the truth. Now let's listen to the Shakshi Pramana. Bhagavan has beautifully manifested through all the balasans in the courtyard, which the two doctors from USA are experiencing that, and they are sharing that testimonial.
To give you a little background, in my early career, I spent time doing research at an academic center, training medical students, internal medicine residents, and rheumatology fellows. Over the last 12 years, I've practiced private practice rheumatology, and I'm a very busy rheumatologist. Just to give you an idea of who is now looking at this science. Yesterday, we had one of the most amazing experiences, and we're truly blessed by Swamiji to experience what Ramanujan experienced when the Mukur Mahalakshmi bestowed upon him this gift of math. The last 2 days, we've played with our balasans and given them very complicated math compounding factors and trigonometry, and their answers are accurate again and again. To the point where when our answer is incorrect, we now look at our calculator and redo our calculation, because most likely we've punched the wrong button, not that they have it wrong. Now, having understood this, yesterday, Ma Pragnana happened to find herself on a team with 2 physicians. So you can see now where my thought process is leading. We looked at her and we said, we know that they can give us all kinds of complicated math answers and distances and whatnot, but can this science, even in the length dimension, go a step further? So we decided to give her medical questions. Now, she looked at us first with awestruck eyes with, what are these people going to do to me? And so we decided to give her first a simple medical question, or what we thought was a simple medical question. We gave her this. For a patient who suffers from an uncomplicated urinary tract infection by the organism E. coli, what would be the treatment? And she looked at us, blinked several times, and then started to write frantically. Now, mind you, both Dr. Saraswati and I were thinking we would get back an antibiotic. We gave her a pen even when she looked initially at us, because we thought she wouldn't be able to pronounce the antibiotic. We thought it may be easier for her to write down the name of the antibiotic. When she started to write frantically, we both stood over her notebook to see what she was writing. And this is what she wrote. Step 1. First, test the urine for an infection. Step 2. Make sure that the patient drinks plenty of fluids. Step 3. Give the patient adequate glucose support. Now this from a Balasant who has no medical background and is so much more accurate.
People are studying medicine.
We had to step back and think about how we're doing things. Now, of course, our wheels are turning. Next thing we know is we're starting to come up with all kinds of questions for her because we have to rethink how we're doing things. We have to look at medicine again. This is finally happening for medicine. An unbiased, unprecedented event in medicine is happening in our day and age.
Beautifully, Bhagavan has shown us the pramanas, and again, all the pramanas again and again prove that how we can manifest the powers of Paramashiva just by simply download. Bhagavan, when he was in the womb, and Abhirami Andadi, he was able to download when he was a very small kid. When he was in the womb, he heard that, and he was able to download when he was born, and as a child of 2-3 years, he was able to download the full Abhirami Andadi, not by learning from anyone, but just downloading what he heard when the mother, when she was pregnant, was listening to. Simply the science, we now have proven science, how a mother doesn't know the language, but if the child keeps learning something in the womb, that language can be spoken by the child very easily at a very young age, even though the mother does not know the language. So all these are proven science now. One by one, the science is clearly telling us how we can experience as beyond the body, as beyond the what we understand as body. Body is not something to leave the body and go somewhere. How in the sleep we are not leaving the body and going somewhere. We are in a different state of consciousness. Same way when we are in deep sleep, when we are in coma, when we are in dream, we are in different states of consciousness. And same way we can experience the Paramashiva space also, which is the quantum space, the Turiya space. Once we experience Turiya space, Bhagavan beautifully says, I can pull you into the Turiya Atita, which is the enlightened space. Constantly when we experience the thoughtlessness, we start manifesting that as our reality. That we understand that Paramashiva manifests as our reality. Suddenly we feel like $1 trillion kid. We can experience all that oneness and manifest as any of the powers. And beautifully the oneness starts manifesting as reality. Now, let's get the camera on. And if you have the Jnananjan, apply your Jnananjan on third eye and your temples. And you can randomly select some questions, or you can have a partner and you can have some questions selected for you, and they can give you the questions. You can see through your third eye. If you have a Krishtashila, which is a granite slab, or you have a banyan leaf or a mirror or yantra, and if you have the Jnananjan in your Kantamala, you can apply on that what you have learned before in your inner awakening or in any of the programs. You can use that also to see the download which needs to be happening. So simply Bhagavan will download through all these things as reality. And simply when we connect to the Paramashiva space, whatever he downloads, start downloading, and don't think, oh, this is about my problem. This is not about the formula. Do not judge anything. Just keep writing. Just keep writing. Suddenly you will have a breakthrough that the perfect answer starts appearing. That is how all the Balasants, just first they declare, they can see it, they can do it, they know it, and it happens. So it is the other way around. We think we have to first get it and then only we'll approve that we can manifest powers. No, we are manifesting. We are already enlightened. Nobody has to prove it. All we need to do is recognize it. Bhagavan beautifully says, a master is there to simply tell you, hey, you are wearing your glasses, it's on your eyes. And then we realize, oh yeah, yes, it is there. That is exactly how the power manifestation is. By nature, we are manifesting everything. If we understand by nature how we exist, we'll be manifesting all the realities. So let's connect to Bhagavan. Let's go to the instruction. Let's sit straight into the deep meditation space of oneness with Paramashiva. Bring Paramashiva, Parashakti in your third eye. Bhagavan beautifully gave the powerful cognition, darshan, initiation, and beautiful space for us on the yoga day. So let's hold that now and experience that oneness with Paramashiva. Absolute unclutching from everything that we know as our reality and complete completion. Whatever, how can I get the pain off? How can I get the problems off? First thing, understand it does not exist. When you have the same problem and pain in the dream, when you wake up, do you go to hospitals? No. Same way, for few minutes, let go everything and let it be in the guest room till you come back out of the meditation. Declare very clearly, consciously, I am entering into Paramashiva space. Me and Paramashiva, that's all I know. And only Guru Padaka I can see. Only surrendering to Guru Padaka is all I assume and all I want. And when the earning starts and simply a new definition of you, dimension of you opens up as reality, that manifests as powers, the thoughtless space. Chanting the Mahavakya continuously and entangling with Bhagavan beautifully opens up into the higher science so beautifully. And each of us can experience the oneness with Paramashiva, Parashakti, Bhagavan's beautiful gesture, blessing, initiation, powerful cognition, the smile, all the things that he's holding, his jewels, his attire, his whole way of holding himself, the Padmasana, everything you can just enjoy and continuously hold the powerful cognition, the verbalization and visualization as only Paramashiva. Deeply get connected to him and forget everything else, including your own body. Just merge, how in the deep sleep you merge into a space of oneness. And same way, if you do it, that is called samadhi. In a waking state, that is all we need to experience. So all we need to do is chant the Mahavakya, remember Paramashiva, contemplate only on the words of Paramashiva, and whatever Paramashiva reveals, Swamiji reveals, start writing down all the details. And at the end of this cycle, we can verify the detail, whether the length questions, what is asked, is the same thing answer which got downloaded. Even few words that you downloaded, that is beautiful. You can start sharing in the chat or Facebook, wherever you are. And then we'll have one more cycle. So let's start chanting the Mahavakya. Let's sit straight, continuously hold the oneness space, Shaktipada, and only be in the sweet place of Paramashiva and chant the Mahavakya continuously so that you can hear it. Please put away your phones and everything, all the gadgets. Only be in residing in Paramashiva space, continuously listening to the chanting that you are doing and holding the oneness space with Paramashiva. Let's start the length dimension power.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pool, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
So beautiful. Whatever you have experienced as prasada, Bhagwan, whatever He has given you, please verify authentically those words and those formulas or those definitions, discoveries, inventions, whatever you have mentioned. Please either Google it or check with your partner. It's authentically correct. And if you've got some of them is correct or you feel just the Kundalini energy, that's beautiful. You can experience that oneness with Paramashiva by sharing with the world. At the end of the next cycle, we'll do that. Again and again, surrender to Bhagavan's lotus feet. How do I do that? I don't know what to surrender. then surrender that also to Bhagwan's lotus feet. We have no idea, the mind cannot understand that which is to be cognized, that we have to understand. And only if we understand, we will simply surrender our idea about ourselves and what to surrender, what is right, what is wrong. When you know that he is Paramashiva, and simply if you surrender, you are raising more and more into consciousness. Bhagavan beautifully says, when you fall in love with God, Paramashiva himself, Swamiji himself, who has come down as an avatar for us to be liberated from this human and experience the superconscious space, simply we need to surrender the identity that we hold, that we think that exists. As human, it's okay, but to experience the next level of consciousness, surrendering this passport will make us get the next level of experience and next level of manifestation. The identity, the Aadhaar card we have, or the passport that we have to be completely surrendered. What you know as you need to be surrendered. And if you surrender that, you will understand what it is you actually, and who is it you actually. That is what Bhagavan says. You recognize the higher space. You understand that you are the ultimate. You are the consciousness. And you are Paramashiva. And simply Bhagavan says, when I went and saw who's Arunagiri Yogeshwara, I saw myself there. And clearly Bhagavan says, I can see only Arunagiri Yogeshwara in me. Other than him, I don't know what I am. And you can ask any of the great avatars. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, other than Kali, he doesn't know who he is. Ramana Maharshi says, other than Arunachala, they don't know who they are. And simply they become absorbed in the higher science, and they become the reality, and they can manifest anything and everything once they understand the higher science. They become the quantum, the frequency instead of the body and the mind, and they become the consciousness which is observing everything which is happening. That's what Bhagavan says beautifully. That we cannot forget, that we cannot remember, but that remembers you. That is what we experience in the deep sleep, and that is eternal. Understanding this and going further deep, inquiring yourself into this more and more deeper, you'll understand even the death and birth cycle is a fantasy. It is only the mind which goes through all this. You exist beyond that, and recognizing that and feeling the oneness, that manifests as your reality. Now for a few minutes, let's go into the deep space of oneness to realize that and be with Paramashiva to manifest whatever the question that we have, the answers, and simply write down. What is the point of writing all these questions? These are just to see how you are complete. Only the cognition shift that happens in you manifest as powers. Once you understand that simply Paramashiva in you can manifest reality, and I do not have to do anything other than surrender myself, the identity, and simply keep writing down whatever answer he gives. Simply he will give the right answer also every time correctly. So go ahead and just keep noting down whatever the questions that you have, either from your partner or from Google. Write the questions clearly and start meditating on that, the Paramashiva space in you, and simply whatever Devi, Parashakti reveals, write down the answers and see if it matches exactly. Please write the questions which you don't know the answers and see how beautifully Devi can manifest, and the thought clicks in you. Absolutely correct. So let's start chanting the Mahavakya. Sit straight with the head, neck and spine in a straight line. Again and again, bring Paramashiva in your third eye. Manifestation starts from your third eye. So to start manifesting all the powers of Paramashiva, just by chanting the Mahavakya, continuously remembering the form of Paramashiva, Bhagavan himself, entangling with the form, remembering the form and chanting the Mahavakya will make us manifest all the powers. Let's start chanting the Mahavakya.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Vani open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Vani open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Beautifully, whatever Bhagavan has given as prasada, please verify from both the cycles what Bhagavan has given you, what you have written down with the questions that you have, what answer was given, and is it matching correctly. Please share it in tinyurl.com/powermanifestation. Even one line that you experience the oneness space, or you have some comments or suggestions, or any of the beautiful sharing that you would like to do with a video or a picture that you have manifested the power of length dimension, please share it for the world to recognize the space of Paramashiva and bringing the so much of auspiciousness and abundance in them, experiencing they are Paramashiva. Again and again, when you share these great truths, you become that. Whatever you cherish, that is what you speak about. And what words you are, you become that. So sharing is one of the simplest exercise where you start manifesting your reality as Paramashiva. If you see a $sign at the end of the chat, you can offer your gratitude to Paramashiva. All the Hindu temples have a hundi for offering their gratitude. First thing, we offer the gratitude to Paramashiva because end times he showers on us every time we offer that space of Paramashiva as our reality. The more we recognize the higher space that we are, the more we are out of the problems and all the happenings that we are going through. And simply we can manifest all the higher signs and reality by offering these things, by sharing your experience that you are Paramashiva, offering to Kailasa, contributing to Kailasa, simply will make you manifest all the powers of Paramashiva. So thanking Bhagavan deeply and asking Bhagavan to manifest Paramashiva as your existential reality. Surrender all the powerful cognition and power manifestation to Bhagavan's lotus feet. Every time when you experience the higher state of consciousness, keep surrendering to Bhagavan's lotus feet. Bhagavan says you go more deeper and deeper, and simply happens. And thank each one of you here participating in this session today. Each one of you manifesting so much of space of Paramashiva is so auspicious and abundance. So thank you so much. And let's thank Bhagavan and end the session with a Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Bhagavate Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam Padukarpanamastu. Om Nithyanandam. Thank you so much. See you after the next satsang or next darshan in Kailash Koti and Manifesting Power session. Again, just reminding you, the Zoom session will be available through eKailasha. Log